Hello, everyone. Welcome to this YouTube Live, where I'm going to share with you the astrology of June through December 2023. This will be a very comprehensive report, and I recommend listening to it once the full way through live, and then come back and refer to it throughout the year as you need, because it's going to have the specific details about all of the new moons and full moons, the Mercury retrogrades. We will also have a Venus retrograde and a Jupiter retrograde that you'll want to be very connected with when they are happening, and eclipses in October. So there's a lot of really powerful, really exciting transits coming up. Some of them, of course, will be more difficult. Some of them, of course, will be more beautiful and flowing and bring joy and blessings and abundance into your life. And it's so helpful to be tuned into these cosmic energies, because when we know what's coming ahead of time, and astrology is this wonderful predictive tool that we have, a predictive science, really, that's been used by our ancestors for thousands of years. We know that astrology was very well developed in ancient Egypt, ancient Sumeria, and other ancient civilizations by 1500 BC, which means that they were developing it and using it for millennia before that to have it developed to such a high extent by 1500 BC that we have evidence of. And so this is an incredible predictive tool that is coming back into popularity in our world in really powerful ways, because we're seeing just how accurate and how powerful it truly is. And so it's really helpful to be tuned into the astrology, because then you will know what's coming ahead of time. You will know which days you should make space for healing and which days you can be out frolicking and enjoying life. And be connected in with the cosmic energetics that will be supporting you in the different activities that you need to do, so you can plan ahead. If you have a big work presentation to do or a book launch, right? You want to be sure that you are connecting in with the energy that will support you on those days. You don't want to be doing a big work presentation on a day that everybody's going to be super emotional, including you, and be doing deep healing work, right? You want to do a big presentation on a day that you're going to have the Jupiter influence of expansion and growth and abundance. So we can tune into these cosmic energies. We can look at what's coming ahead of time and really lean into these transits, lean into the planetary energies, and receive the highest gifts from them as all of this moves through, rather than being knocked over by them. And really, truly, all of the transits, all of the planetary movements are happening for our highest growth and evolution. Some of them feel worse than others. Some of them feel amazing. Some of them feel very challenging, but all of it is working with the different aspects and powers within ourselves to help us come into alignment with who we truly are and what we're meant to bring to the world. So it's very powerful to work with astrology in this way. And I wanted to bring you this report that will tell you about the full year ahead, June through December 2023. I am Jocelyn Starfeather. I am the founder of Sacred Planet, and I am a coach and guide for visionary entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs to find visibility and their global community so that they can truly share their voice, their message, their mission with their wide global audience, and support the uplifting of humanity and the raising of consciousness at this time. I am also an astrologer, a spiritual alchemist, and I am a guide and facilitator to tours to sacred sites, particularly in Egypt. And I lead an Egypt tour every year. So you can find out more about me on my website, which is wearesacredplanet.com, and that will be linked in the description field below. So let's begin. We'll dive right into this presentation that I have prepared for you today. And this is a very comprehensive look. So if it is too long for you to watch in one sitting today, come back to it a couple days in a row, a few days in a row, so that you can really receive all that is here. And as I mentioned, be sure to come back to this throughout the year and tune into certain particular transits that I share about, so that you will know exactly how to work with them. And I do have a really exciting free gift for you, the Alchemical Astrology Chart Reading Guide. This is a full color guide that is an invaluable tool in your astrological explorations. And it clarifies and explains step by step how to decode the cosmic language of your birth chart or any astrological chart. So it includes the main planetary glyphs, or the symbols for the planets and what they mean. It includes 5 important asteroids that you'll want to know about and work with. It includes the deeper meaning for each planet, what the astrological houses indicate, how to interpret the zodiac signs. It also gives instructions on how to pull your free astrological chart if you need to do that, if you don't yet have your chart drawn up. So you will just want to go to this link to claim your guide. It's completely free, and you will receive this beautiful full color guide. I can't wait to share it with you. And this link will also be posted in the description field below. And I have one more exciting announcement. I lead a group that is called the Radical New World Building Group, as we are tuning into this astrology for 2023, 2024, and 2025. There are momentous opportunities for those who wish to begin a visionary business or community or venture or project that is related to spirituality, rites of passage, nature connection, plant medicine, all of these different themes that we'll look at when we get to Saturn and Pisces, which is an important part of this look ahead today. As Saturn is moving through Pisces over the next 3 years, the businesses that you've been wanting to start that are going to help people grow in their spirituality, in their connection to energy healing, if you're a healer, if you're a teacher of any sort, you are going to experience massive growth in your business over the next 3 years in particular. So it's an amazing time to start or grow your spiritual business, your purpose-based business. So I recommend that you click here to learn more about the Radical New World Building Group if this is speaking to you. We have opened up 3 more spaces. So these are just a limited number of spaces. I do expect them to fill quickly. So if you'd like to join, send an email to hello@wearesacredplanet.com with the subject line, send me the details to join the Radical New World Building Group, and we'll get back to you. And these spaces, these 3 spaces will be filled on a first come, first serve basis. Now there's a lot more information about the group and all that you receive at this link right here. This will be posted in the description field below. So check that out if you're interested. Okay. Now, let's really dive in. So I'm going to first go over the energies that we will be in the midst of as we enter June 2023. So in late May, early June, what will we be moving through? And then we're going to go month by month after that. So we'll look at June, all the transits in June. We'll look at the transits in July, August, and so on through December. So let's look at each of these themes a little bit more closely here. First of all, as we're entering June, we've just had Jupiter move into Taurus. So Jupiter will be in the sign of Taurus from May 16th, 2023 to May 25th, 2024, a little over a full year. And so if you're looking at where this is in your chart, this is the whole zodiac sign of Taurus over this whole year. So you'll want to look and see what house is that for you in your chart. And that will tell you the themes specifically for you that Jupiter and Taurus will be bringing in and working with you on. But overall, for all of us collectively, this is a very beneficial and optimistic transit. For those with planets and points in the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you've had a really challenging last 2 years. And this is because of the Saturn-Uranus squares, as well as the Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction in 2022. Just summarize it to say you've had a rough couple of years. This Jupiter in Taurus is coming in to bring a healing energy and resolution and a shift into optimism and abundance to heal all that you've been through over the last 2 years. So this is really big for so many of us. I have a lot of planets and points in Leo and Scorpio, so I'm right there with you. Now, this Jupiter in Taurus for all of us collectively is a great time to start a business, make financial investments, travel, explore different cultures, travel to sacred sites. You know, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, and abundance, and Taurus is the earth. Taurus is our bodies and our 3D world. And so traveling to sacred sites, connecting with the land in different parts of the world, what an amazing way to celebrate Jupiter in Taurus. You can travel to gain wisdom. Jupiter is also about wisdom. Learn a new language, take cooking classes, begin studying something that your heart has been longing for. Now with Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter is going to be connecting us with nature and the natural world. And this is something I've spoken about in other videos. This is really the antidote to all of the how shall I put this? The over influence of technology, right? Like how we're seeing all this crazy stuff coming out with AI and space travel. And really, we just, as humans, for our health, we need to connect with the earth. We need to come back to the health of our bodies, to the health of our environment around us, and really ground into that reality, because these other things are not real. These other things are fabricated, you know, AI and et cetera, et cetera. We want to use technology for good. Okay. We want to use technology for the powerful ways that it can help us and support us, but we don't want to go overboard. And Jupiter in Taurus is going to be welcoming us back into our bodies, back into the earth. So this whole year is just an amazing time to spend time in nature, reconnect with the natural world around you. As I said here, hike the Appalachian Trail or another trail that's been calling to you. Really connect in with what's real, the natural world. And as I put here, Jupiter says, this is your big chance. Give it everything you've got, because Jupiter in Taurus is really beckoning us toward financial abundance, health in our bodies, bringing back health to our world. And so if you're doing any kind of work personally or professionally that is connected to these themes, really dive in all the way. You're going to be very supported during this time. Another huge energy that we have that started on March 23rd, 2023, and is going to go all the way until March 8th, 2043. Okay, so 20 full years, is that Pluto will be in Aquarius. So on a personal level, this transit, this 20-year transit, is going to help us to truly access our deep, deep power within. This transit will bring a new understanding of life itself and the sacredness of all things. Pluto always brings up what is being hidden. Okay, Pluto is the lord of the underworld. So he's going to bring through revelations of what has been hidden, particularly in the fields of science and technology, bringing truths to light that we were not aware of before. Pluto really revolutionizes us and asks us to question everything so that we can be reborn into a new understanding of ourselves and a new understanding of reality. So there may be times during this 20-year period that it will feel like a death to rebirth journey in your own life. That depends how Pluto in Aquarius is impacting your own chart. But if you have planets or points at 0 degrees, I will say 0 to 3 degrees of the fixed signs, this will be a very strong transit for you, as well as 0 to 3 degrees of the air signs. So that's Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. That will be a very positive influence for you, 0 to 3 degrees of the air signs. But this will include initiations, catalyzing new understandings of who you truly are. It's really about birthing ourselves into our true and deep power. Now, in the collective, this is huge. Okay, this is a massive shift in consciousness and changes in the social order. So we're truly at the initiation point of a new age, in which the mysteries, life, death, and rebirth, and revealing what is hidden will all become increasingly important aspects that will be more honored, revered, and brought into the collective awareness over the next 20 years. And this transit, because Aquarius represents technology and Pluto represents power, this will bring unexpected and uncharted next levels of technology. And really, truly, this is only getting started now. This will be amped up to much higher levels, this uncharted next levels of technology theme, once Uranus moves into Gemini beginning in July 2025. Now, that will be a topic for a future video, but I just wanted to mention it here. Here's a little bit more about Pluto in Aquarius. So Pluto in Aquarius brings sweeping changes in social order and public rights. Pluto was in Aquarius in 1778 to 1798, okay? And that was the time when we had the ratification of the American Constitution, the Industrial Revolution, the French Revolution, the Enlightenment, and the publication of the Vindication of the Rights of Women, which was a whole sweeping change, bringing up this notion that women should have equal rights to men. And so this is really, really big revolutionary energy. Now, what's going to happen at this time with what we have going on in our world right now is that Pluto is going to force a change in our leadership structures. We are carrying right now in our world an old, outdated model of top-down leadership where the people at the top have all the money and power, very few people at the top. And that model is not going to survive this 20-year transit. What we're going to see over this 20 years is really a breakdown of that model, and new Aquarian leaders will rise that will be carrying values such as egalitarian leadership, where the many are included in the decision-making, grassroots energy, again, very community-oriented, based in what the community needs. We will see the rise of younger leaders and a more equal distribution of wealth and power than we're seeing right now. So this sounds very exciting, right? This is wonderful. This is the change that our world needs. And also, this is going to have to occur through a breakdown of the current structure so that this new structure can rise. And this is so much of what's happening in our world on many levels. We are needing to break down the old structures that are not working in order to build the new models. And this is why I'm calling this presentation, and I'll just go back to my title slide here for a moment. What does it take to build a radical new world? That is really a huge theme of this June through December 2023 astrology. So the new leadership model is going to thrive on promoting visionary or radical ideas for our future. And so there are many breakdowns that must occur in order for us to reach the breakthroughs. So this will appear as a death and rebirth of our societal structures. Again, this is a 20-year transit. This is not all happening in 2023, but we're going to see the beginnings of it now, and it will continue to unfold over the next 20 years. So that's Pluto in Aquarius. Now, assisting us with this even more is Saturn in Pisces, which brings a different angle to the shifts that are happening. So Saturn moved into Pisces on March 7th, 2023, and will stay in Pisces until February 13th, 2026. And because this is a 3-year transit, I broke this down into what degrees of Pisces Saturn will be transiting each year, so you can see where that falls and what houses that impacts in your birth chart. But what's really important to know about this transit is that the esoteric, mystical, and magical will come much more widely into mainstream awareness. This is because Pisces represents all the dimensions, all the oneness, that which we cannot see, but is here and present all around us. And Saturn is the practical, logical world and how reality is structured. And so these two are going to come together. And there's going to be this massive increase in the just global mainstream awareness of energy healing, magical topics, mystery school topics, the esoteric themes, spirituality, and so much more. So the next 3 years are an incredible time to start or expand any project, business, or venture based on these themes I have here: spirituality, healing, energetics, frequency, ancient wisdom, mystery school teachings, ritual and ceremony, vision quest, rites of passage, plant medicines, astrology, tarot, alchemy, dream work, body work, somatic healing, dance and movement, nature connection, and so on. And that is why I have started this group called the Radical New World Building Group. You can see the details for that at the link in the description field below. So Saturn wants us to build the strongest possible foundation for our work. Saturn represents work. All right. And so he often needs to put us through tests and trials in order to strengthen and empower us and ensure that we have what it takes to really carry through with our goals. So this may be a time of spiritual tests to help you get clear on what you truly believe and what you stand for. Saturn can absolutely bring us slowdowns, frustrations, prevent our forward movement when there's a lesson we need to learn. Okay. So if this is happening in your life, there's something that Saturn's trying to show you. There's something that Saturn's trying to teach you if you have planets or points, particularly in the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. All right. Now, Saturn wants to help you learn the lessons so you can move forward. So the best thing that you can do is connect in with Saturn, ask him to guide you, ask him to show you what he's trying to teach you so that you can learn it more quickly, because as you pick up on the lessons more quickly, you get to move out of the frustration and the slowdowns. And then you get to receive the gifts of Saturn, which are immense. And these gifts are about creating a solid foundation and structure for your highest work and mission. And ultimately, Saturn, he is Chronos, he is Father Time. He wants us to build our legacy work that will go on even beyond this lifetime. So as we tune into these lessons, we open to our mission, we open to our purpose and to this highest contribution we can be giving while we're here. And this is something that can bring true fulfillment and joy in your life. So this is what Saturn wants to help us with. So this is an amazing time, the next 3 years, to start a business based on spirituality, healing, energetics, etc. Create new structures to support your spiritual practice. Build your dreams into concrete reality. That's such a wonderful tagline for Saturn and Pisces. Build your dreams into concrete reality. And find opportunities where dreams, imagination, and vision can challenge outdated modern world structures or concepts. So if this is speaking to you, Saturn and Pisces is going to be very, very helpful for you on your path. Here's another energy that we are in right now that has really just been ramping up throughout May and is getting pretty strong. So this is Pluto, the planet Pluto, which is in the hovering right around 0 degrees of Aquarius for the next several months. We'll be moving just slightly back into Capricorn, but generally around 0 degrees of Aquarius, is square to the nodes, which are hovering around 0 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio during this time. And so this will be strongest from May through October of this year. And this is one of the biggest astrological energies we'll be working with throughout the year. So this is high pressure, tension, evolution, and transformation. Remember that Pluto is the god of the underworld. He wants to transform us. He wants us to go through an initiatory process that feels like a death, but is truly a shedding of that which is no longer working and bringing that which is hidden out into the light so that we can be reborn into our true and deep power. And so this brings an intensification of the energies, especially in late July and throughout August when the square is most strong. Things are being forced to change so that we can build what is new, as I shared about when I spoke about Pluto in Aquarius. So a big part of this is going to be about questioning and challenges to the existing authority systems and structures, breakdowns of authority. Pluto will force a change to our leadership models over the next 20 years. And Pluto squaring the nodes now in 2023 is giving us a first taste of how this will occur. So we may see this in the collective as revealing of corruption information, secrets, dishonesty coming out into the light, being revealed, things the authorities have tried to keep hidden, all of this coming out and being revealed. There may be, big information coming out that we weren't expecting. And as we navigate this, we need to keep in mind that this is bringing through an entirely new values system and leadership system based in the Aquarian ideals. It is revealing to us a dramatic beginning to all of the changes that Pluto wants to implement over the next 20 years. So we need to hang on to our hats for this. We need to hang on for the ride and really trust that this is all happening for a reason. This is all happening for our highest evolution, and really to bring through new leadership models that will be much more aligned with our true values. This is a wonderful quote from astrologer Pam Gregory. She says, and this was particularly when she was speaking about the Pluto square the nodes transit, she said, "Don't focus on what's ending. Focus on all that's beginning anew. This time is a doorway to a multidimensionality that we have never experienced in our lifetimes." So this is what we want to focus on. This is what we want to remember when Pluto squaring the nodes. Again, it's particularly strong in late July and throughout August. And Uranus and Pluto are working significantly with us during this time, during this year. Uranus asks us, what is the active chaos that would shift and change all of your current structures? And do you dare to take action on it? Uranus is here for our liberation and freedom. And Pluto says, you are becoming the phoenix. You will rise from your own ashes. I will initiate you into your own true and deep power. The more you can surrender, the easier it will be. It's really helpful to connect in with the energy and like the personality of these planets so we can better understand what they're trying to get through to us. You know, some of these transits we've been through in the last few years have really felt just like hard knocks to the head, you know. And so it is big energy we're working with. This is huge energy. This is like nothing we've experienced in our lifetimes, the way the transits are working with us right now. The most recent energy that is similar to this was in the late 60s and early 70s. That was when Pluto and Uranus had a grand conjunction in Virgo. And so it's interesting because so much was awakened, revolutionary energy, complete transformation of the social orders on some levels at that time. But then it fizzled out, and we are now being called to bring that energy back in, but at a much higher level, a much higher consciousness level, as Pluto and Uranus are working with us so strongly again. Now, I include this slide. This is a little bit eye-boggling, so don't worry about this. We're not going to go over every detail, but I just wanted to have this in the slideshow. I will post the slideshow in the description field below so you can come back to it. This just tells where each planet is going to be moving to from June 1st to December 31st, 2023, in case you want to come back and see where these fall in your chart. So let's move into the month forecasts. Yay. So June 2023. Have some background noise here. Background noise, sorry about that. So June 2023 is going to be a time of opportunity and insights. There's some really beautiful energy coming our way in June 2023. So we have Jupiter in Taurus, as I mentioned earlier, and Jupiter is going to conjunct the North Node at 3 degrees of Taurus from May 30th to June 3rd. This is a very wonderful transit. This is a time of opportunity. This is a time to dream big. Okay, Jupiter is expansion, growth, and abundance, and the North Node is our future. So plan for the future during this time. Really make space for the insights about what you need to do going forward. What are the big plans for this year and next year? Let those come through during this time. But don't jump right into action, okay? Taurus is a slower moving energy, and Jupiter in Taurus with the North Node is, how can we approach our future in a little bit more calm of a way that's going to be really solid, but not leaping in too fast at this time. There will be time to leap in fast, and I'll tell you when that's coming, especially in early 2024. But right now, we want to take time to rest, ground, and center before putting those plans into action. So just let yourself receive the insights, receive the new forms of abundance that are wanting to make themselves evident to you. And Jupiter is really quite close to the North Node all throughout June. So while this transit is exact in the first few days of June, that energy continues throughout the month, and it's really wonderful. And we're going to have a full moon in Sagittarius, which will be on June 3rd or 4th, depending on your time zone. The sun will be at 13 degrees of Gemini. The moon will be at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. So take a look and see, where are the sun and moon in your chart? What houses are they in? These are the themes that this full moon will bring for you. And so in this full moon, we'll have Pluto opposite Venus, asking us, what are your most deeply held values? Are you being true to them? And how can you strengthen the use of your own power? Now, these are important questions working with Venus that we can consider before we move into the Venus retrograde that will be happening in the middle of the summer months in the Northern Hemisphere. So beginning to work with Venus now will be really powerful. Venus represents our values, our integrity. She represents love and beauty and embodiment. And so really Pluto working with Venus, from both of them, they're bringing us into our power and a new perception of who we are as the most powerful version of ourselves. So allow those insights to begin opening up around this time. Mercury will be conjunct Uranus for this full moon. So this is about rapid new ideas coming in. And this is amazing with Jupiter conjunct the North Node and Mercury conjunct Taurus at the same time. Huge insights can come in, new revelations, new understandings of where your future is meant to go. This is a rapid pace of mental activity, making radical new plans. This will include a grand fixed cross involving Venus at 28 degrees of Cancer. Now, we had a grand fixed cross on the new moon in Taurus on May 19th, where Mars was involved in the fixed cross. This time, and that was a more difficult energy, this time it will be Venus involved, and Venus will be opposing Pluto. And so this is a more flowing energy. And again, it's asking us to start working with Venus in advance of the Venus retrograde. So the moon will be trine Mars and black moon Lilith. So this is a time to strengthen your resolve and your inner courage and power. Stand up for what you believe in. So this is a really good, like it's with all the Venus activity, it is heart opening. And with the Mercury and Uranus, it's also mind opening. So this is really a time to let those insights flow in. And June, I really see this as a time to recover and ground after the very intense energies of May and even back into April 2023. So connect with all these Taurus energies, Jupiter in Taurus, Mercury and Uranus will be in Taurus, the North Node in Taurus. So connect with the earth, take long walks in nature, hug your loved ones, swim in the ocean, read a book in the sun, do calming and soothing things that will connect you back with reality, back with your body, back with the earth. Allow your mind and body to recalibrate. And if you do, and when you do, you will receive an inspiring influx of new ideas and plans for the future. Then we're going to have a new moon in Gemini on June 18th, where the sun and moon will both be at 26 degrees of Gemini. So take a look at your own chart, see where that falls in your chart, and if you have any planets or points near this new moon. Now, the new moon is always the time of new beginnings. When the sun and moon come together, it begins a new cycle in our cosmos and also within ourselves. So the new moons are when you want to set your intentions. So this will be an amazing time, this new moon in Gemini, to take the insights that you got from the full moon time and when Jupiter was conjunct the North Node, and then really write out your intentions, really draw up your plans for the future and plant them in some powerful way. Having ritual or ceremony at this new moon in Gemini would be wonderful. We have the sun and moon working with Neptune, inviting us to use our imagination about how we are creating our new and vibrant and radiant future. And we have Jupiter in the North Node sextile Saturn, which is really supportive. And so during this time, again, you're going to continue receiving insights. And this will be, with Saturn involved, very practical insights, how to structure your life to support the future you've been longing to build. So I invite you to do a lot of writing at this new moon in Gemini. Gemini is about writing and communication. So write down your plan now. There are some big and a bit more challenging energies coming in the coming months. So write down your plan now. Write down this highest consciousness information that's flowing through during the month of June. So your plan will be clear once you come through the ups and downs of the rest of the year and you're ready to take action. We will also have Venus and Mars both in Leo with Black Moon Lilith. So they'll be asking us, what are you fighting for? And what are you fighting against? And is this the best use of your energy? Now, then we'll have the solstice on June 21st. Okay, so what a wonderful combination to have the new moon in Gemini, just 3 degrees away from the solstice. This is an incredibly powerful time for writing down your plans and setting your intentions and goals for the next half year ahead. And I do want to note that Venus and Mars almost have a conjunction. They're 3 degrees away from Venus and Mars having a conjunction, because Venus will be at 20 degrees of Leo and Mars will be at 23 degrees of Leo on June 30th, but they don't quite meet because Venus starts to slow down. She's about to turn retrograde and Mars speeds ahead. So this is interesting. It's an almost conjunction. So we may have themes coming up around the end of June about the masculine and feminine, about our relationships. And again, this is all a prelude to the Venus retrograde that is coming up soon. Now, I want to make a note that we have a huge astrological event happening in July, something that only happens every 1.5 years. And this is the nodes and eclipses are moving from Taurus and Scorpio, where they have been happening for the last 1.5 years, since January 2022, into Aries and Libra. And this is a huge shift in our collective energetics. This happens exact on July 17th. The North Node shifts from Taurus to Aries and the South Node shifts from Scorpio to Libra. Where the eclipses are happening and where the nodes of the moon are located is the focal point for transformation in our lives. So this focal point for transformation is moving from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra. So you definitely want to look at your charts and see what houses are Aries and Libra for you, so that you can see the themes that you'll be working with over the next 1.5 years and where the points of transformation will be coming in. So here's a little more information to help you understand what all of this means. The North Node represents our future. And the North Node and the South Node are calculations. These are not like a planet, but they are calculations based on the location of the moon in the sky. And they have 19-year cycles. Okay, it's 18.5 to 19-year cycles. So every 19 years, they come back to the same place. So you can look at what was happening for you 18 to 19 years ago, and those same themes are going to come around again now at this time. So the North Node is the direction our soul is pulling us toward in this lifetime so that we can live our highest calling and our fullest life. And the North Node feels new. It feels outside of our comfort zone. It's a lifelong journey to reach our North Node calling. And with that, I'm talking specifically about the North Node in your chart, but this is the collective North Node that we're talking about here as far as moving into Aries and Libra. So the North Node indicates what we are moving toward, what we want to bring into our lives. And it is in your birth chart, it is an indicator of purpose. Now, the South Node is our past. So this is about past lives, where we have come from. And this is what feels familiar and comfortable to us. Even if it carries some pain, it feels familiar. So this does include pain, karma, and trauma that we've been carrying and we need to clear, as well as the gifts, wisdom, talents, and modalities that we've learned in previous lifetimes and that we bring as gifts into this lifetime. So it has a positive and a negative component, but it's all of our past. Now, this is our comfort zone. It's where we've been before, so it feels familiar to us. But it includes a lot of what we need to let go of in order to live more fully, in order to live with peace and joy. So it includes old patterns addictions, pain, trauma. So where the South Node travels, and the South Node is moving into Libra here in July, it indicates where we're individually and collectively healing, because we're releasing and clearing old harmful patterns from the past along the themes of that zodiac sign. So with the North Node moving into Aries, we want to look at, what does Aries mean? Aries is courage, leadership, personal power, independence. It's about taking pride in our own power and really claiming that, like really passionately claiming it, not concerned with what others might think or say. And so this is our ability to move forward, to leap ahead, to take action, to clear a new path forward. It's very much a pioneer or a warrior energy, like forging the new path, fighting for what we need. It brings up themes of courage, strength, and boldness, and passion, and what lights us up. On the negative side, Aries can be confrontational or too aggressive. It's like too much of that warrior energy. Too much not caring what other people think, right? So we want to find a good balance. So with the North Node moving into Aries, we're going to be called to bring these qualities, especially courage, strength, and boldness, into how we're co-creating our collective future. So courage and strength will be our allies. We will really be called with the Aries North Node to step into our power in a very big way. So we're getting that message from Pluto. We're also getting that message from the North Node in Aries. We'll be asked to stay true to our convictions, to stand strong and take a stand for what we truly need. And that's on a personal level as well as collectively, okay? Not giving in to what others say we need or what others are asking and draining our energy, but like, what do I need right now? And getting really clear on that. And we'll be learning new levels of mastery around how to claim our power and leadership, and how our passion points us toward the future we've always wanted. Then let's talk about the South Node moving into Libra. Libra is the scales. Libra represents natural order and cosmic law. In the Egyptian mythology, this is the goddess Ma'at and the principles of Ma'at, natural order and cosmic law, balance and harmony, the scales of justice. And so Libra also reveals where the imbalances are so we can heal or correct them. People who have a strong Libra energy can often be the mediator, the peacemaker, the diplomat, because they can see both sides of every argument, and they can really help guide people to the middle point that carries the balance and harmony. Libra is about relationships, collaboration, and teamwork, beautiful things, beautiful experiences, and social grace. On the negative side, Libra can be indecisive and avoid conflict. It can be overgiving, compromising of one's own needs. See, that's the opposite of Aries, where we put our own needs first. Libra puts other people's needs first, right? So are we balanced? This is going to be a big question with the North and South Node in Aries and Libra. Are we giving too much to others? Are we taking too much for ourselves? How can we find the proper balance at the center of that polarity? With the South Node in Libra, we're going to be called to heal the imbalances, heal where things are out of harmony, so we can return to a state of right relationship, reciprocity, and alignment with the natural order. Now, this is really massive for us on a collective level, because humanity, we are living so severely out of alignment. We are not in right relationship to the earth. We are not in right relationship to one another on a, massive collective scale, with all the violence, with all the war. This is not Ma'at. This is not in balance. We are not in right relationship with life itself. So this South Node in Libra, I believe, is going to bring a huge examination of what needs to change personally and collectively to bring that balance back. On a more personal note, we will need to release old patterns of overgiving, weakness, indecisiveness, and catering to others, really moving toward that Aries North Node of claiming our power, regardless of what anyone thinks. I know this is right and I'm going for it. Okay. So these are some big themes, and you can see how this is really powerful work we're going to be doing with the nodes in Aries and Libra. Okay. So let's talk more about July. So July is really portals to new realities. This is going to be a really powerful time. So we will have Mercury conjunct the sun in Cancer on July 1st. This is a time for big new mental insights to come through, big new realizations and understandings. I'm going to have a whole separate slide about Venus retrograde. That's going to start on July 22nd and go all the way until September 3rd. But we need to know that Venus is already slowing down significantly in early July as she's about to change direction. Retrogrades, just in case you are not familiar with just the logistics of that, this is based on our view from the Earth. And in our view of the sky from the Earth, there are certain times when planets appear to be changing direction, moving backward rather than forward. Normally, planets are following the arc of the ecliptic, the path of the sun across the sky, in a forward movement. The sun is always going in a forward movement. But sometimes the planets, because of how their orbits are seen from the Earth, a planet will go forward, and then for a little while it will go backward, and then it will go forward again. So that time when it's going backward is the retrograde. Again, planets don't change direction in their actual orbit around the sun, but from the Earth, it appears that they're moving backward for a period of time. Now, also important in July 2023, and really July, August, and September, is that Jupiter and Uranus are getting very close to each other in Taurus. They'll be within 10 degrees or less of one another throughout all three of these months, July, August, and September. So this is an energy that is really carrying us through these months, bringing an expanded sense of surprises, new information, revelations, revolution and rebellion, and a sense of excitement and optimism about the unexpected. Uranus brings surprises. Uranus is here to liberate us, as I mentioned, really standing for our liberation and freedom. And Jupiter is about our growth, our wisdom, our abundance, our sense of wealth, and our sense of optimism. So these are a beautiful combination of energies and can bring us some new exciting things that we never saw coming, but that will be very abundant and helpful and blessings for us. So we have a full moon in Capricorn on July 3rd, where the sun will be at 11 degrees of Cancer. The moon is at 11 degrees of Capricorn. So as always, with new moons and full moons, look to see where does that fall in your birth chart. The sun is with Mercury. So this is the Mercury Cazimi, still very strong. And Uranus will be square. Now this is really big. And this is a prelude to the Venus retrograde. Uranus will be squaring all three of these, Mars, Venus, and Black Moon Lilith, all at one time. Okay, so with Venus kind of at the center of this and with Black Moon Lilith being the rebellious and revolutionary feminine, we want to really pay attention to what happens on this day, because it's going to give you clues about what you'll be learning more in depth from the Venus retrograde, July 22nd to September 3rd. And with Black Moon Lilith in there, this has a real energy of like, I am not going to put up with the status quo anymore. Here's how I'm going to be claiming my freedom. And Venus wants that for us too. Okay, so Venus and the Black Moon are going to be working together here to help us increase our feminine power. So what parts of you on the feminine side are you looking to increase your power? Are you looking to claim your empower? And this can be related to movement and true embodiment of your gifts, speaking more clearly from a grounded, receptive, inner feminine sense of who you are, rather than the Mars like warrior, fighting, confronting. This is a more coming from our deep inner wisdom, right? A more feminine approach, allowing ourselves to receive the insights and just sitting in our power. Okay, but even just, this is like the Egyptian goddess Mut. She is the version of Sekhmet, the lioness that is sitting in her power. She is so powerful that just by sitting and holding that power, she can direct what is happening in the world, right? So how can we claim that in our lives? And so this is just the beginning, just opening up to those energies here at this full moon in Capricorn. Now, the moon at this full moon will be trine Jupiter and sextile Saturn, very harmonious for our emotions, a calming energy, a future-oriented energy. And so this is amplifying this theme of what do we need from the feminine part of ourselves, right? How can we be seating in our power, feeling calm and peaceful, and also knowing how deep our power truly is. And the Jupiter-Saturn sextile is continuing after this too. So keep writing down your plans and insights for the future. Jupiter and Saturn are really favorably working with us at this time. As we continue to move through July, the nodes will move from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra on July 17th, as I just explained. And Pluto is exactly square the nodes. So Pluto will be at 28 and 29 degrees of Capricorn. The nodes will be at 28 and 29 degrees of Aries and Libra from July 18th to August 4th. So that is that energy of the Pluto bringing that massive sweeping changes to our social order, to our political order, these kinds of things. I think something really big is going to happen during this time that will begin the shift that Pluto is wanting for us over the next 20 years. We'll see. We'll see how that happens. It can feel tense. It can feel difficult on the personal level as well. Then also on July 17th, the same day that the nodes change signs, we will have a new moon in Cancer. So this is a powerful new beginning energy. A lot is happening at that time. The sun and moon will be together at 24 degrees of Cancer. See where that falls in your chart. Do you have any planets or points around 24, maybe let's say from 21 to 27 degrees of Cancer? This will be a really important new moon for you, if so. Now, this new moon is opposite Pluto. And this is continuing this grand cross that we have, where we have Pluto opposite the sun and moon, and then the nodes are square to those. Okay. So this begins to bring in a heaviness and an intensity that we're going to continue to feel for the next few months. And this is something that we're going to need to work with. This is, I feel so strongly at this time that we are in this mystery school training program. Okay, we can't, there are not real mystery schools like there were in ancient Egypt and other ancient civilizations at this time. And so it's like our lives, our daily reality is bringing us through a mystery school with deep initiations. And Pluto is the one bringing those initiations to a grand extent. So we want to really ground and center. We want to really focus on the beauty. And I have a little more about that later in the slideshow here. And know that this heaviness and intensity is not going to last forever, but it might last for a few months. So really focus in on what's beautiful in your life, focus in on what brings you joy, and we're going to get through this together. Now, the sun and moon sextile Uranus is a very beautiful energy. Okay, this is bringing bright insights. We can set our intentions knowing that pleasant surprises are possible on this new moon. And this is so interesting. This is the polarities coexisting, okay, at this time. We're going to be entering into a time, particularly July and August of this year, where we're going to see some really challenging heaviness, okay, alongside brightness and light and miracles breaking through. And we're going to need to hold both of those extremes. We're going to need to be able to sit with both of those polarities. This is part of the mystery school training, to hold all of it, to know that we are living the fullest life at this time. And some of that is really hard and some of it is really magical. And to just be with all of it. Okay. To accept all of it as part of our reality. And what's really important is to not resist it. When we resist the difficult pieces, that's where we can go into anxiety and panic and negative emotions. We want to really keep our hearts light. We want to keep our minds focused on what we love and what is beautiful, and know that we are powerful beings who are here because we can hold all of this, right? And so it's a very powerful time to be opening into our true and deep power and our ability to receive all of it. So pleasant surprises can happen on this new moon, sun and moon sextile Uranus. We also have Mars opposing Saturn and Jupiter square Mercury in Leo. So these are asking us to challenge the structure of our lives And I do think there could be protests or revolts or something happening in the collective that is like challenging the structure. So big, big energies here for this new moon in Cancer. We will have Venus retrograde conjunct Mercury in Leo on July 27th. This is a really interesting conjunction. So this is going to be inspiring us to speak from the heart. Venus represents the heart. Mercury represents speech and communications. So how can we speak from the heart? And how can we reevaluate our values and what we really need and make new agreements to form stronger relationships going forward? So this will be a day to really anchor into your values and what do you most need and how can you communicate that from the heart? Now, I welcome you to put in the chat, how is this all moving for you? What are your thoughts? What have you been experiencing so far in 2023? And what are you excited about for the rest of 2023? And what is really moving you at this time? Go ahead and put that in the chat. I would love to know. So let's continue on. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if you need to take breaks and come back to this, I know it's a lot of information, but I wanted you to have it all in one place. I wanted to deliver it all together so that you can have this as a resource for the rest of the year, so that you can keep coming back to this whenever you need to check in on what energies are happening, what energies are moving. Okay, so Venus retrograde in Leo. This is a really big transit. Venus goes retrograde about every 18 months, okay, about every 1.5 years. So the dates of this retrograde are from July 22nd to September 3rd. And the degrees that it will be impacting in the zodiac is from 28 degrees of Leo to 12 degrees of Leo. Now that's going backwards because Venus is going backwards. So look and see, what do you have between 12 to 28 degrees of Leo and in your own chart? And any planets or points there, she will be working with you very clearly and very specifically. So Leo represents our creative expression, confidence, our fierceness, our heart energy, boldness and courage, and our inner passions and fire. And Venus is the planet of love, beauty, relationships, our values and ideals, self-care and creativity. Also our integrity, right? Like, what do we hold firmly as our strongest values? So with Venus retrograde in Leo, we're going to be asking ourselves a lot of questions, such as, how can I express myself more fully? How can I share my creativity more widely? Or do I need to be acting more creatively? Do I need to be doing more creative pursuits? Also, where do I need to develop more courage or act more boldly? And what am I truly passionate about? And how can I bring more of that into my life? And you may want to write these questions down in your journal or your notebook and just really ponder these over the upcoming months, July 22nd to September 3rd, and really note what insights come through, what life events are happening to bring your attention to these themes. Because this is how we're being asked to up-level and evolve during this time of this Venus retrograde. It's really here for our benefit. It's here for our evolution. So embrace this, work with it, ask yourself these questions again and again during this time, and see how the answers shift and change, and see what life events are teaching you about all of this. Venus will be generally in a square to Uranus in Taurus throughout much of this transit. So this will bring unexpected events that could challenge the stability of relationships. And this transit, it's ultimately meant to liberate us from old relationship patterns so we can be happier and more true to ourselves. So it doesn't have to be an ending of a relationship, but maybe it's a big shift in the way that those of you, the partners, are relating to each other, or a shift in the way that you're understanding what your future life is meant to be together, so that you can both be happier and more true to yourselves. Now, Venus retrograde often brings calls and texts from previous partners, okay? Or it may bring up a longing for a past relationship. So be really careful before taking action on these kinds of impulses. Venus retrograde is really not the best time to rekindle an old flame. It's It's not the best time to begin a new relationship. It's really a time to release the old around relationships and make room for the new. But the thing is that these old relationships are coming back into our awareness so that we can see what wasn't working, so that we can really clear out all of that old energy and decide and choose powerfully what we want in relationship going forward. All right. Look in your chart to see what house Leo is for you. Venus will be significantly working with you on the themes of that house from July 22nd to September 3rd. And I just want to remind you that I strongly recommend getting this free gift. Again, look in the description field below to see and click on that link. But if you are hearing about these transits and these planetary movements and wanting to know, what does this mean for me? This chart reading guide is really going to be the key to that. So go ahead and claim that guide. There's so much goodness there and it's completely free for you. So I hope you will enjoy that. Okay, let's look at August 2023. And the overarching energies of this month are inviting us to move into the heart. So we have a full moon in Aquarius, and we actually have 2 full moons this month, August 1st and August 31st. And a new moon in between them, of course. Very exciting. So a full moon in Aquarius on August 1st. The sun will be at 9 degrees of Leo. The moon will be at 9 degrees of Aquarius. Now, in this full moon, the moon is pretty close to Pluto, about 10, 11 degrees away from Pluto. So this can feel like an initiation. It can feel uncomfortable, bringing hidden secrets or shadows out into the light. And Saturn is opposite Mercury. Now, this can bring challenges and disruptions to our communications. That could be on a large collective scale, or it could be just personally. We may find that our thought patterns are disrupted, or it's hard. It may feel like brain fog, like we can't just really pull our thoughts together easily at this time. We might have dark or difficult thoughts. So if that's happening for you, if you're having depression, if you're having dark or challenging thoughts, it's really important to reach out to others and seek support if you need it. We will also have Venus retrograde conjunct the Black Moon Lilith. So this is the fierce feminine taking a stand for her most deeply held values. But how you might feel this personally is really realizing all the things that are not working for you in your life, particularly in your relationships. So it can feel very difficult. This full moon is going to be a pretty challenging one. And this is part of the reason why I'm inviting you to move into the heart, because there are things happening here that are like the deep moving, shifting tectonic plates within us that our minds just cannot comprehend. Okay. And instead of trying to address this from a mind or a logical perspective, we need to move into the heart. We need to see, what is it that these cosmic energies are trying to communicate to us? How are they trying to help us evolve? And what does our inner wisdom and our intuition say about that? Our hearts can handle these energies even when our minds cannot. So really move into the heart to move through this and know it is all happening for your highest evolution. Venus will square Uranus from August 7th to the 16th. This is a really big part of the Venus retrograde that is going to bring up important realizations, okay, and new understandings for us about liberation from old patterns of relationships. So if we pay attention to what is being brought up, really this whole first half of August, from the full moon on August 1st through the Venus and Uranus square, August 7th to the 16th, if we're really tuning in, really asking ourselves, what are the important messages coming through? What is being brought up for me to see? We can be set free from outdated modes of how we thought we were supposed to express ourselves, or how we thought we were supposed to be in relationship, and open to a completely new way of expression or a new way of relating that is going to feel like freedom itself, right? This is the incredible potential here, really important. And the sun is conjunct Venus retrograde on August 13th. So this will bring major revelations about how we're meant to express ourselves creatively. And you can ask yourself questions like, what has been longing to be expressed from my heart that I haven't let it come through? Or what is the fire burning within me that I haven't given enough space or air so it can truly shine? These are incredible questions to journal on during this time, and I strongly recommend that you do so. Journaling will be very, very powerful all throughout July, August, and September of this year. Now, continuing through August, we want to remember that Jupiter and Uranus continue to be co-present. July, August, and September, all three of those months, Jupiter and Uranus will be within 10 degrees or less of one another. So this brings this expanded sense of surprises, new information, revelations, and a sense of excitement and optimism about the unexpected. This is an underlying energy that's supporting us through all of these transits with Venus and the squares and Pluto and everything. It's going to be helping and supporting us and allowing us to lift our energy back up again. Now, for the new moon in Leo on August 16th, this is a powerful new moon, once again, to set intentions, to plant your new seeds. So the sun and moon will be together at 23 degrees of Leo. The new moon will be conjunct Black Moon Lilith. So the sun and moon are both conjunct Black Moon Lilith. This is really about that feminine energy of rebellion and revolution within ourselves. And we have a huge square happening here. Venus, the sun and moon, and Lilith are all square to Jupiter and Uranus. Now, this is a big square. This is a lot of tension. This is a lot of pressure. And what's happening here is that we're trying to become, and this is like, again, the tectonic plates within us are shifting so that we can become liberated from our old patterns, so we can more fully embody our highest integrity and values in all that we do. But it can feel very uncomfortable. Really trust this process. This is an initiation. And again, come into the heart. The mind cannot handle all of this. It's too much for the mind. The mind's going to feel overloaded. The mind's going to feel anxious. Don't listen to that, okay? Don't fall into your thoughts. Drop into your heart. Trust what's happening. Trust the discomfort. It's showing you important things you need to know so that you can be liberated. And at the same time, Mars is approaching in opposition to Neptune. And that's about the shattering of illusions, right? So this is a really important thing that you could be journaling on at this time. What have I thought was true, but may not actually be true? Do I have illusions about why this relationship needs to work? Do I have illusions about needing to stay in a career that's really just like drowning my soul? Right? Am I carrying any illusions that are leading me down the wrong path? And when we clear and release ourselves from those illusions, then we can truly be free. It can be really hard to look at. It can be really hard to acknowledge that that's an illusion. But again, this is all for our liberation. So how can that free you and allow you to be truly your highest expressed and most freedom-filled self? Now we're going to have a Mercury going retrograde also in August, and I will have those details on an upcoming slide. Before that, though, I want to bring in these notes about the full moon in Pisces on August 30th and 31st. This is going to bring a welcome moment of calming and relief. So we've been through some really intense stuff for most of August here, including the Pluto squaring the nodes at the beginning of the month, and then these pretty challenging full moon and new moon. But the full moon in Pisces is going to be a time where we feel calming and relief. Once again, we can take a break, we can rest, recharge, integrate what we've been learning, and ground and center. So the sun and moon, the sun will be at 7 degrees of Virgo, the moon will be at 7 degrees of Pisces. The moon will be conjunct Saturn in Pisces, highlighting the emergence of the mystical, spiritual, and esoteric into our collective mainstream consciousness. And this chart, if you look at it, it's a kite formation, which means we have a lot of trines and sextiles. The kite is pointing at Neptune and Pisces. Okay, so trines and sextiles are very positive, very favorable. This is a really favorable full moon energy. And huge potentials and opportunities are now becoming available to us if we can properly and respectfully use the resources of our dreams, intuition, and imagination, which is represented by Neptune and also by Pisces, and adopt a feminine approach of receptivity, which is a big thing that Venus has been communicating to us throughout her retrograde. We don't want to be using the Mars Aries energy of using force to push ahead during this time. We want to really surrender. We want to really drop into our dreams, intuition, and imagination, and let that be the calming and relief for your nervous system that you need. The opposition between Mars and Neptune is ending. Okay, it's still there. Okay, there's still a little bit of tension from that, but we're on the other side of it, which means we can see it from a new perspective. So questions to journal on at this time would be, how can I stay true to my ideals and values, right? Especially based on what you learned from the new moon in Leo on August 16th, when Mars and Neptune were really exact in their opposition. And at this time, both Venus and Mercury are retrograde. So things can feel like they're just not able to move forward. You don't want to take big leaps now. You want to wait. You want to be learning, recalibrate, assess the situation carefully before you take any action. This is not a time for a big leap ahead. When the planets are moving retrograde, it's harder for us to get things going in a forward motion. All right. So really, let this be a calming time, a receiving time, a resting and recharging time, and just enjoy it for what it is. Just really let yourself rest in that. Okay, so we have Mercury retrograde from August 23rd to September 14th. This will be from 21 degrees of Virgo to 8 degrees of Virgo. So look at your chart and see what you have between 8 and 21 degrees of Virgo. That's where Mercury will be particularly working with you. And we want to note that both Mercury and Venus will be retrograde from August 23rd to September 3rd. So retrogrades, and particularly Mercury retrogrades, are about the idea that we need to rethink every once in a while. We need to rework, we need to recalibrate, we need to redo. All of those RE words, right? We're asked to evaluate, to reconsider how things have been going so that we can make any needed changes and move forward in a new way after the retrograde. So with both Mercury and Venus retrograde at the same time, we're being asked to rethink a lot of aspects of our lives. Okay, so with this Mercury retrograde in Virgo, some of the themes that we will need to rethink, rework, and recalibrate are around health, daily habits, and overall well-being, grounding. How can we stay more grounded and centered? How can we spend more time in nature to improve our health? How are we handling stress and finding new ways to calm the mind and nervous system? After moving through that first half of August, we're going to really need to be calming the nervous system. So this is a big learning that I think will be happening for all of us at this time. Anywhere we've been overly critical or judgmental could be brought up into our awareness for correction. We'll be asked to make more space for ritual and ceremony in our lives if that's appropriate for us. Increasing our connection with the earth and the sacredness of life. That's Virgo, very strongly, the earth and the sacredness of life. Stepping into our role as the priest or priestess in our own lives. And also claiming a leadership role and sharing our voice in a way that benefits the earth and all beings. These are the themes that are likely to come up. These are good things to be journaling around, whichever of these themes especially resonate for you during this time. I do want to note that all the Mercury retrogrades in 2023 will be happening in earth signs. We already had a Mercury retrograde in Taurus in April and May. This one will be in Virgo, August and September. We'll have another one that begins in Capricorn later in the year. So we're really being called to connect with the earth, to connect with our body and our 3D reality and nature throughout all of these Mercury retrogrades, as well as Jupiter and Taurus, same kind of themes. And Jupiter will be retrograde in Taurus. So that's another earth sign retrograde. This is a huge theme for us. And I'll just say that there's this idea that I've been sharing in some of these videos about our organic sovereignty. Okay, so as we're talking about AI and other technology that's going to be coming in, again, like with Pluto and Aquarius, and then Uranus moving into Gemini in 2025, this is unprecedented levels of technology. And I think we're being asked, with these retrogrades all happening in earth signs, with all of the activity in Taurus over these years, Jupiter in Taurus, particularly in 2023, for example, we're being asked to claim our organic sovereignty. And this is recognizing our own bodies and the earth and organic life forms as the highest technology, really honoring that, really holding that sacred, and not letting these other, let's see, what's a good word? Human invented, more unnatural forms of technology to take over, right? Not letting those take over, really coming back to ourselves and life itself and the earth herself as the highest technology of all, and holding those in a sovereign way. Okay, so this includes taking really good care of our bodies. And this is something that Mercury retrograde in Virgo is absolutely going to ask us to do, because Virgo is very much about how our daily habits create our level of health. Are we getting exercise? Are we taking, supplements that we need? Are we eating healthy foods? And how does that contribute to our health? Also, are we spending time in nature? All the things that we know we need to do. So coming back to this idea of strengthening the body, strengthening our connection to the natural world around us, I just think this theme is being driven home in so many different ways over 2023 and also throughout 2024 as well. It's very powerful. It's something we really want to focus on, just holding sacred our organic sovereignty. So I welcome you to reflect on that and feel into the importance of that for you. Okay, now September, into the liminal realms we go. So we have some powerful Neptunian energy coming in that's really going to invite us into a space of imagination and visionary insight. Now we're beginning the month with 7 planets retrograde. Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron are all retrograde at this point. And Jupiter will turn retrograde on September 4th. Now that's just after Venus turns direct on September 3rd. So we stay with 7 planets direct overall. But this is a lot of backwards motion. So we're not meant to be taking giant, action steps or external, new steps forward at this time. We're really meant to be more reflective. We're meant to be going within and into the liminal realms in this case. Now, September 8th, Jupiter will be trine the sun in Virgo. So Jupiter in Taurus, trine the sun in Virgo. This is a beautiful energy that brings self-confidence, good news, amplification of abundance in your life. And then we're going to move into the new moon in Virgo, which will be on September 14th or 15th, depending on your time zone. For this new moon, the sun and moon will be together at 21 degrees of Virgo. Check and see where that falls in your chart. Again, remember, always the new moons are for planting seeds, setting new intentions. The sun and moon are trine to Uranus in Taurus. So this is, again, very strong earth energy. And this is at a wide angle, but it is a wide grand earth trine with Pluto. So very powerful and very positive trines, and especially a grand earth trine. So really favorable, helpful energy. Now we have another kite in the chart, and this is again pointing at Neptune. This time it's with the sun and moon opposing Neptune. So we may not be able to tell what's illusion and what is reality at this time. We will be invited to turn to the earth, new moon in Virgo, earth sign Virgo, and body or movement practices to ground and center. And again, this is an amazing time to be doing ceremonial work, ritual work, to really be allowing yourself to go into the liminal realms, gather the wisdom there. Okay, this is, again, not a strong, just mental linear mind time. This is a liminal realm time. Venus is moving direct once again. That will bring some relief. We will have some resolutions or new understandings about all that we were learning during the Venus retrograde from July 22nd to September 3rd. And Mercury just is turning direct at this time. September 14th, Mercury turned direct. So Mercury on this new moon is pretty much at a standstill. And just again, throughout September as well, Jupiter and Uranus will be co-present. Surprises, new sense of excitement and optimism will be an underlying energy guiding us through these months. We will have the equinox on September 23rd, and that will be very closely aligned, only 6 days apart from the full moon in Aries on September 29th. So for this full moon in Aries, the sun will be at 6 degrees of Libra, the moon will be at 6 degrees of Aries. This is very close to being a north node, south node eclipse, okay, with the sun near the south node, moon near the north node, or at least in the same sign, I should say. Venus is at 22 degrees of Leo, square Uranus at 22 degrees of Taurus. Now, this is the final time we're going to see an exact Venus and Uranus square this year. So this is going to bring resolution or new understandings to what's been coming up for you for the past few months, because Venus and Uranus have kind of been dancing with these squares the whole time that Venus was retrograde. And this is the final closing out of that square. Okay, so what came up strongly for you in mid-August? What was coming up strongly throughout the Venus retrograde? This is going to be a time when you can receive the revelations, receive the new understandings. Uranus brings these lightning flashes of insight and bring closure to what you learned so that you can, choose to move forward in that new way that has become clear to you. And Mars is approaching the south node. Mars at this point, at this full moon, is at 21 degrees of Libra. The south node is at 25 degrees of Libra. This is going to start to bring up new themes that you'll be working on healing over the next 1.5 years, because Mars wants us to take action on things. Mars wants to bring his sword and cut through the illusions. So you'll be beginning to feel that energy, and the eclipses in October that I'll share with you soon are going to help you dive even more deeply into what is the healing work that we need to do. So Jupiter turning retrograde on September 4th. This is a really big, important energy we're going to be working with for several months from September 4th to December 30th. And this retrograde will be happening from 15 degrees of Taurus to 5 degrees of Taurus. So look for where that falls in your chart, between 5 and 15 degrees of Taurus. Here are the themes we'll be working with during this Jupiter retrograde. Taking a slower, more practical approach to decisions or major actions in your life. If you've been going too fast, you will definitely be asked to slow down at this time. Course correcting where things have been going wrong, getting clarity on parts of your life that have not been moving forward. So Jupiter is wisdom. He is expansion of the mind, expansion of the heart. He can help us understand the deeper levels of what's happening. All right. So this is really going to be about kind of analyzing and looking at what's not working. How can I course correct? What is the new way forward? You'll be asked to decide what is truly of value to you. So refining and rethinking your beliefs, your value systems, recalibrating your life to come into closer alignment with your true core values. Something really big to think about during this time will be an increasing shift toward minimalism and greater awareness of financial expenditures. Now, we've already been asked to choose more minimalist at this time, to be, being careful of our financial expenditures. And this will be continuing that theme. So a shift away from extravagance, caution and care around financial decisions, choosing to spend money more wisely than you have in the past. It will be interesting to see if this Jupiter retrograde in Taurus has an effect on the global markets and the economy. I would expect that it does, because Taurus represents our financial reality. And with Jupiter, the planet of wealth and abundance, going backwards, retrograde there will probably be some big collective financial shifts at this time. So that could be why we are invited into more caution and care around financial decisions. So look in your chart to see what house Taurus is for you. Taurus has already been extensively activated over the last several years, but this is a really helpful energy of course correcting and realignment that will be guiding you around the themes of that house in your chart. Okay, October. We are going to have 2 eclipses in October, and this is going to be a time of really profound healing. So we're starting the month October 3rd, 4th, and 5th with Mars conjunct the South Node. So this is inviting us, even before the eclipses begin, to make space for healing. Open up the space for healing in your life. You don't want to be trying to conquer the world in October, because we're going to be brought into a very emotional place, a place of deep processing and healing. So we want to really make space for that. And Mars is inviting us to do so already at the beginning of the month. We need to know that what we most need to work with, what we most need to heal, is going to be brought into the light during October. So allow yourself to become the spiritual warrior, courageously and boldly cutting away and releasing the old patterns that have harmed you in the past. On October 10th, we have this really strong transit where Venus is conjunct the black moon Lilith now after her retrograde, and conjunct the moon, and all of them are opposing Saturn. This is about your deepest needs becoming clear. So whatever you need to break free from, whatever your heart and soul most deeply need to become whole, will become quite evident at this time. This can be a very emotional day as you come to a new inner realization of profound truths and a knowing about what you really need to change in order to be fully expressed, in order to be in your power, in order to embody your truth like never before. So this is a day to feel all of it, to acknowledge and accept all of it, and to discern what needs to change in your life. You want to be really gentle with yourself on this day, and really all throughout the month of October, be very gentle with yourself. On October 14th, we have a new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So this is our second set of eclipses in 2023. We had eclipses on April 20th and May 5th. And now we're having eclipses on October 14th and October 28th. All right, so eclipses are points of transformation. This is a South Node eclipse. The sun and moon will be conjunct at 21 degrees of Libra with the South Node. So this is bringing up the themes of healing past wounds, the South Node themes very strongly. This new moon, the sun and moon, will be conjunct Mercury. So Mercury's right in there with the sun and moon and South Node. New insights and solutions are becoming available to us. Mars in Scorpio is trine Saturn in Pisces. So this is about burning down the old so we can open a path to build the new. And Pluto continues to be square the nodes and is also square to Mars. So this is a lot of tension, a lot of challenge. This could bring a trapped or stuck feeling where we can't take action. And so again, be really gentle with yourself during this time. Make space for the healing to happen. This is healing, trying to break through. When you feel that tension, when you feel stuck or trapped, it's because the healing is happening, right? So really trust that. The North Node is near Chiron. So the more that we can lean into the healing of our deep ancient wounds, Chiron represents our deepest wound. The more we lean into that healing, the more we can see the light and connect to our purpose and mission, which is the bigger message of Chiron. Chiron is about the wounded one who becomes the healer and teacher, but only by bringing high consciousness to the healing. Chiron and the Chiron parts of ourselves, the wounded parts of ourselves, do not become the healer and teacher by running away from the pain. Maybe you become the healer and teacher by going into it and bringing highest consciousness and bringing light to what you've wanted to keep hidden before, and really working with it, being that spiritual warrior, working with it powerfully. On October 20th, we have another Mercury cazimi, where Mercury is conjunct the sun. So as we're integrating after the solar eclipse on the 14th, this is a day, October 20th, where new understanding, new solutions, and new breakthroughs become possible. Now, on the negative side, Mercury cazimi can feel like mental overload, too much fire in our mental processes. So it is best to stay calm and quiet on this day, really allow the new understandings to reveal themselves. Then we're going to move into the second eclipse. This is a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. This is a North Node eclipse. The moon will be at 5 degrees of Taurus, close to the North Node, which is at the late degrees of Aries. And this is highlighting how we can open a path to our new and radiant future. The sun at 5 degrees of Scorpio, moon at 5 degrees of Taurus. And the moon is conjunct Jupiter, which is really beautiful energy. But there are other more difficult parts here. So Jupiter is opposite Mars during this lunar eclipse time. And Jupiter's retrograde opposite Mars. Now, Mars is the warrior, right? So painful endings can take place here. Remember that this is all part of the transformational arc of healing with the eclipses in service to your highest future. If you have something that ends, maybe a relationship that ends, a job that ends, some painful ending at this time, really trust the process. This is not happening to torment you. This is happening for your highest healing and evolution, and so that you can bring in new energies that you've been longing for into your life going forward. Mars and Mercury will be conjunct. So this is going to bring a flow of insights about what we need to release so that we can open the path to the future. This can, with Mars involved particularly, it can bring up strong emotions like anger and resentment. So don't lash out, don't act on those anger and resentment or whatever you might be feeling that's a negative emotion at this time. Wait, process this, sit with it, see what the deeper messages are. Wait until mid-November to take your actions. It's going to feel a lot easier in November and December, guys. In the days after the eclipse, Venus in Virgo will be moving into an opposition with Neptune in Pisces. And this is time to really use our insights and learnings from these eclipses to identify the illusions you're still hanging on to. What are you wishing was true, but you know in your heart that it's really not? And how is that blocking or preventing you from living your highest integrity and values? This opposition becomes exact on November 3rd, but we're going to feel it starting as soon as the eclipse is done. So it's important to really be aware of that and be working with that, journaling on it, meditating on it as you go forward from the eclipse day, October 28th. So this is a big month. This is an intense month. Again, be so gentle with yourself. If you need support, reach out to friends, reach out to a therapist if that's someone you work to. Get Reiki or massage or acupuncture or some kind of healing treatment to really help you move this energy, process it, express it, share it, be able to speak it. Don't just hold it in. Even just journaling can be magical during a month like this to help us move the energy, the feelings, the thoughts through and receive the gifts that they're trying to bring to us, receive the healing that they're trying to impart. November is going to feel like a big relief, okay? And we're going to receive really massive revelations about our own true and deep power, each of us on an individual personal level. So Pluto is finally at this point moving out of that square with the North and South node. This is huge. This is a big relief. And because Pluto, they're now like 4 degrees out of the exact square. Pluto is at 28 degrees of Capricorn. The nodes are at 24 degrees Aries and Libra. It's a big relief. On November 3rd, Jupiter, still retrograde, will be opposite the sun. All right. So it's going to be asking us, what have you learned so far since Jupiter turned retrograde on September 4th? Really be sure to include the teachings from the Jupiter retrograde as part of your post-eclipse integrations. And helping us to integrate after those eclipses will be this new moon in Scorpio, November 13th. Now, this is the first new or full moon in Scorpio since the nodes moved out of Taurus and Scorpio. So this is going to be an easier Scorpio moon than what we've had for the last year and a half. And this is a really good thing. This is a time of integration and reflection about the themes revealed during the eclipse window. The sun and moon will be at 20 degrees of Scorpio. Mercury has just moved into Sagittarius. This is also a relief. This is so when Mercury's in Scorpio, our mind is just in this like down in the depths of the underworld inner processing much of the time, especially when eclipses are happening right with Mercury. So as Mercury moves into Sagittarius, this allows us to turn to more optimistic, adventurous, exciting new ideas rather than all that inner processing. It's a huge relief. We'll be really glad for this. Mercury moving into Sagittarius. And the new moon is this, so the sun and moon at the new moon time are opposing Uranus, with Jupiter fairly close to Uranus. So there are themes here of liberation, freedom. What do you need in order to truly feel free? And what we learned during the eclipses is probably going to give us the answer to that question. So this is really important to journal on at this time. What do I need in order to feel free? And you can ask yourself, what is the bold act of rebellion that I'm committing to now? That's a Uranus question. This could be, this new moon in Scorpio, an amazing time to rewrite your future with courage and conviction based on all that you've been through this year, all that you've learned, especially from this last round of eclipses. How do you want to rewrite your story? How do you want to rewrite your future? Very powerful and healing time here, but healing in a more uplifting way now that we get into November. Now on November 25th and 26th, in the days just before the full moon, as it is in the waxing phase, the moon will conjunct Jupiter and then Uranus. This is a beautiful sequence of energies, really heightening our desire for freedom and expansion. So Jupiter and Uranus will be asking us, what is your bold and liberated choice for your life and your future? Choose your new beliefs, claim your power, and rewrite your story now. This is a huge theme for November, based on everything we've learned. How do we rewrite our story? And then the full moon in Gemini is a wonderful time for rewriting as well. This will be on November 27th. The sun will be at 4 degrees of Sagittarius. The moon will be at 4 degrees of Gemini. Now, at this time, the sun will be conjunct Mars in Sagittarius. This is 3 fiery energies coming together. The sun, obviously a ball of fire. Mars, the warrior god, is very fiery. Sagittarius is a fire sign. This is a huge sacral chakra activation, an activation of your own power. So claim your power now. Claim your role as a spiritual warrior who independently and optimistically forges a new path ahead into an adventurous and uncharted future. And really don't be held back by what anyone else thinks or says. That's the really pure Mars energy. Trust your own inner wisdom and your most fierce convictions. Now, Venus at this time will be conjunct the South Node. And this is really a powerful energy asking us, what did you learn during my retrograde? That's what Venus says to you. What did you learn during the Venus retrograde, July 22nd to September 3rd? And is there anything you still need to release as a result of those learnings? If so, release it now or over the next 2 weeks following the full moon as the moon is waning. This is the time to release. And we will have Mercury square Neptune. So we're being asked to surrender to our dreams and visions. Be led by that which you cannot yet see. And if we try too hard to stay with linear ways of thinking, it's not going to work. Remember the heart. Remember, our heart can handle these changes even when our mind cannot. All right, that is the invitation from Mercury square Neptune. And this month of November, I mean, I really recommend saying this alchemical prayer 3 times a day, every single day. But as you move through this month of November, it's an incredibly powerful time to say this prayer, which is, dear universe, please send me all of the things that I need the most that I do not even yet know are possible. This opens us up to possibilities and gifts and blessings beyond our wildest imagination. Okay, so we're entering our final month here in the forecast, December 2023. This is a time when we will receive the light very brightly, right? The universe, all the stars, the sun will be shining the light so brightly on us so we can examine our most deeply held questions and hold them up in the light. On December 7th, Jupiter, nearing the end of its retrograde, will be trining Mercury, both of them in earth signs. So this brings a big aha moment, a big moment of a new understanding, new revelation, brilliant yet practical insights, and new solutions to things that seemed impossible before. This is a beautiful transit. The new moon in Sagittarius is happening on December 12th. The sun and moon will both be at 20 degrees Sagittarius. Now, this is very close to the galactic center. The galactic center is the point in our galaxy, and this is an astronomical thing, not even astrological. It's the point in our galaxy where the universe exploded from, where the universe was birthed. I'm sorry, not the universe. Our galaxy was birthed from, okay, the Milky Way galaxy. This is the point where it emerged from, the galactic center. So this is literally the birthing point of our galaxy where we live. And that is located at 25, 26, and 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So this is a new moon with the galactic center. This new moon is square Neptune, so it could highlight any illusions you're still holding on to. Remember, we're really clearing out the illusions this year. Any ways you've been trying to escape from reality, it's going to ask you to bring those truths into the light and reevaluate your life in a more grounded and optimistic way going forward. Now, this is a really potent day, this new moon in Sagittarius, to begin dreaming into and writing down your 2024 intentions. I always recommend setting your New Year's intentions as close to the solstice day as possible. The solstice will be December 21st. And so this gives us a beautiful window, about 9 days from December 12th to December 21st, to work with your intentions, write them down, rewrite them, get really, really clear, have a year review so you can get clear on your goals. And then by the time we get to the solstice, you will be ready to plant those seeds of those beautiful intentions very strongly. Mars is near to the sun and moon here at 13 degrees of Sagittarius, continuing to lend his fiery energy. And Mercury is almost at a standstill in Capricorn and is going to turn retrograde the following day. I'll have more Mercury retrograde details on an upcoming slide. This is the final Mercury retrograde of the year. And Venus in Scorpio will be opposite Jupiter in Taurus. So this is a deep dive into our beliefs and values on this day. So all of this is really powerful, really lending the energy favorably toward dreaming into our 2024 intentions. The solstice will be on December 21st. And then we will have the full moon in Cancer, December 26th or 27th, depending on your time zone. The sun will be at 4 degrees of Capricorn, the moon at 4 degrees of Cancer. And we have a lot of trines and sextiles. We have the sun trine Jupiter, moon sextile Jupiter, sun sextile Saturn, moon trine Saturn, and Jupiter sextile Saturn. I know that was like a mouthful, but basically what that means is that this new moon is working very favorably with Jupiter and Jupiter and Saturn are working favorably with one another. This is a wonderful, harmonious energy to complete the year. This full moon in Cancer is going to help us to calm and soothe any wounds or traumas that have been brought up by the eclipses. so that we can see them in a new light, so that we can really feel and receive the healing that's been wanting to come through. And this will be a time when we feel guided to use the lessons and use the understandings that we've gained this year to find personal and spiritual growth, expansion, inspiration, hope, and we'll be able to step more fully into an understanding of how to build our radical new world, both personally and collectively. We also have Jupiter turning direct on December 30th. Yay. So Jupiter continues to be sextile Saturn on this day. And this is really powerful as Jupiter's going direct once again for creating financial abundance and success because of the things we've learned from this Jupiter retrograde. So a really beautiful ending to a very dynamic year. So once again, I would love to have you write in the comments your thoughts, your ideas, and I have a few more slides to share with you here about a few other transits coming up early in 2024. But tell me now in the comments, how does all this move you? What are you looking forward to? Where do you think you'll have the biggest transformations happening? I would love to hear in the chat. This is such a powerful time that we're in, and I'm going to share a little bit about that here too before we close for the day. Now, I do need to tell you about this Mercury retrograde. This is Mercury retrograde conjunct the galactic center. How amazing. So this Mercury retrograde will begin in Capricorn and then we'll go to Sagittarius. It will be happening from 8 degrees of Capricorn, moving backwards all the way to 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So look and see, where do you have 22 degrees Sagittarius to 8 degrees of Capricorn in your chart? Mercury will be working with you around the themes of that place in your chart from December 13th, 2023 to January 1st, 2024. Here are the themes that will be coming up during this Mercury retrograde. Connections with our ancestors, re-enlivening our relationships with those who came before us, redefining work and success. So, where am I working too hard? Or alternatively, where do you need to apply yourself more seriously in order to achieve your goals? Career change or realizing you need a career change is quite possible during this time. Working with the earth, ley lines, sacred sites, energetic portals to amplify our spiritual connection. Also, shamanic practices, vision quests, rites of passage, ritual, and ceremony will all be extremely powerful during this time and very profound learning experiences for us and recalibrating experiences for us during this time. Bringing in the Sagittarian influence will be opening up optimism and bringing inspiring new core beliefs into our daily life. Traveling to sacred sites or energy centers of the earth will be very supported. And with this happening so close to the galactic center and even, directly with the galactic center part of the time, remembering our star origins will be really important. The galactic center is the place in the cosmos where our galaxy was birthed from. So you may feel moved to connect with your star families or take shamanic journeys to the galactic center to see what wisdom is held there for you. And this is one more reminder to claim the Alchemical Astrology Chart Reading Guide so you can really move through this year and look at all of those planetary movements I just shared with you and really see clearly where they are in your chart and what they mean for you. So be sure to claim this guide. The link will be right below this video in the description field. Now, there are 2 crucially important transits in 2024. You will want to know about these in advance, so I wanted to be sure to include them here. One is, and all of the students and all of my classes know about this because it's so huge, we are going to have a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. And so this will be exact from April 18th to the 24th, but very strong really through most of the month of April 2024. And this is a huge time of opportunity. This is a time to do something bold, something daring, to really surprise yourself, to break the rules. Don't let anything hold you back. So I invite you, even now, even in this, early time of 2023, I invite you to really begin planning. What do you want to do in April 2024 that's going to change your life, that's going to set you free, that's going to liberate you? And it will be, of course, based on everything you learned throughout all we just talked about in 2023, right? But you can start planning for this now. This is extremely beneficial and optimistic and really brings us unexpected leaps towards success. If there is something that you are wanting to do related to entrepreneurship, bringing your voice, your gifts, your healing, your talents to the world, I invite you to connect with me and connect with the Sacred Planet community, because we have so much to offer you, including the Radical New World Building Group and Soulful Summit Creation programs. This is just an amazing opportunity, and I want everybody to be aware, everybody to know in advance what is the big leap that you're going to be taking in April 2024. And I am here to support you in that in any way, if it might be feel aligned for you. Jupiter and Uranus say, take a risk that you know in your heart is aligned. You are supported now. Okay. And this is about exploration, innovation, revolutionary change in service to higher consciousness and enlightened value systems, faith and courage, ingenuity, creativity. And this is the really big piece, the ability to leap off a cliff toward a new and as yet unseen future, and then make that future happen really powerfully. And there's a beautiful Rumi quote for this. This is my favorite Rumi quote in the whole world. Forget safety, live where you fear to live, destroy your reputation, be notorious. And of course, when we step into our fullest expression, our fullest life, our fullest passion and highest values, it would never destroy our reputation. It will only build that reputation into all that it is meant to be and all that you are truly meant to be. The other transit I want you to be aware of in 2024 is very early in the new year, and it will be when the North Node and Chiron are within 1 degree of each other, all the way from January 31st to March 5th, 2024. And this is happening between 15 to 17 degrees of Aries. So the North Node is the future, the direction your soul is pulling you toward, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So this is where your deepest wound, which you're meant to heal in this lifetime, is located in your chart and in the collective. Now, once you heal this wound, the healing journey gives you the wisdom and experience to be the teacher, healer, and guide for others. So this is a key point in our charts about how we're meant to embrace our purpose and mission, really giving us that how, like, what are we meant to be the teacher and healer and guide of? Oh, it's whatever we healed from our Chiron wound that gave us the experience to then go and help and heal others. So this time, January 31st to March 5th, 2024, is an extremely potent moment to help you leap toward your highest evolution through doing your own deepest healing. So you want to really make space during this time to be in retreat mode, to be in ritual or ceremonial space as much as possible during this 5-week window. And when you make time for healing, you'll be able to more fully and effectively receive the shifts, receive the evolutionary knowledge that you are meant to during this time. So this is something to be aware of in advance, a beautiful opportunity bringing new understandings and revelations as well. So to close out our time here, I have just a few multidimensional reminders to help you navigate this year. So we need to remember that we are literally birthing the new world from within each and every one of us. This does not always feel easy. It's beautiful, it's miraculous, but it doesn't feel easy, right? Now, we are here at this time. Those of us who are alive here at this time, it's because we're meant to be here. We have what it takes to do this deep, deep work. And we know in our hearts that the old world, old patterns, our own inner traumas, doubts, fears, limitations, all need to be demolished before the new world can rise up anew. And this is where it gets hard, right? So it can feel very uncomfortable, yet we need to really rest in a deep trust that all of this is occurring in far more magical ways and with a much bigger arc of a plan that we're all a very, very important part of, right? In more magical ways than we can possibly comprehend. And we want to really focus on the beauty. So knowing that the world could throw some strange things our way, 2023, based on the intensity of some of these transits, right? In our personal lives, we will continue to release the old to make room for the new. And so the best thing we can do is really adjust our perspective to focus on the beauty, focus on the light, the miracles, the simple joys, and the pleasures as much as we possibly can. I think one really practical way to do this, to just bring more light into your life in a very physical way, is to be with the sunrises and sunsets as much as you can. Do breath work during that time. Breathe in the light of the sun as well as taking it in through your eyes and through your skin. Really let that light in. Let that light illuminate you. It will help you to bring light to all the gifts you hold inside and bring light to the healing process and so forth. And so focusing on the beauty, focusing on the light will help us to stay grounded and help us to stay connected to source. And I use the word source. You can use the word God or creator or universe, whatever you want, okay? But staying connected to source is truly the best way to keep your heart lifted, even as your mind is negotiating difficult decisions or you're moving through difficult healing, whatever it might be. And really remember, our hearts can handle this even when our minds cannot. Allow your heart and your intuition to lead the way. Your heart can understand the profoundly transformational nature of these times. Your mind may be at a complete loss or stuck in anxiety or overwhelm. So really stay in your heart. Don't let your thoughts carry you away. Ground back into the heart. Allow your inner wisdom to guide you through. It's also really important to know that huge amounts of light are streaming in to support us at this time. We've seen the auroras or pictures of the auroras everywhere recently. The solar flares, all of this is occurring at unprecedented levels. There are also geological changes within the earth that have not happened for many thousands of years. So this is huge assistance from the earth and cosmos coming to support and guide and protect us. And what I believe, and from my studies of ancient Egypt and other ancient cultures, is that through this light coming in, we are going to be returning. We already are starting to return to a level of consciousness that we have not seen for 8,000 or even 10,000 years. Okay, just let that sink in a little bit, you know. And what's happening here is we're regaining access to a perception of reality that we had access to as humanity 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 years ago or more, but not any time recent. Not in any of our recent generations have we felt anything like this, okay? So this feels unfamiliar. If you feel like you're going crazy at this time, center back into the heart. You're not going crazy. It's just that our experience of reality is truly shifting. We are living in this time that was told of in the prophecies from literally every continent where humans lived since the far ancient times. We're living at the time that is in the 26,000 year and 13,000 year cycles of the precession of the equinoxes coming back to the beginning point. All right, it's massive what's happening right now. And it is truly an honor to be here, to be living here on the earth right now. We're living through some of the most intense times, and simultaneously a time when the possibilities for miracles, magic, synchronicities, and new understandings of reality are all expanded for us at this time. And this is a time of extremes and polarity. The brightest light and the darkest dark are here for us side by side, both very much within our experience. Huge divisions are happening among people. We see this everywhere. Life and death are right here with us, side by side. This is part of the ancient consciousness that's coming back in. It's more intense than what we've been accustomed to. We've been accustomed to this construct of thinking we can control everything and keep everything, you know, exactly as we want it. And we need to really open to the much vaster possibilities that are there when we let go of control, when we surrender to these very powerful cosmic forces coming in. And we need to remember that we are strong and courageous enough to handle it. And however difficult things may feel, the opposite extreme is equally available. So when you're in the darkness, remember, the light is still here. Reach toward the light. We are living in a time of a modern day mystery school. in which we are being trained by life events rather than going through the mystery school training to navigate and learn mastery in handling these extreme situations, extremes, and polarity. We are learning ultimate levels of resilience and courage so we can hold a calm and steady center through all of it. All right. And as we become more proficient at holding that calm and steady center, then we can go on to support others on their path of awakening. And this is so that all together we can bring the light forward in these years to come. So I will leave you with that. I hope this has been very, very helpful to you. And again, come back to this report again and again all throughout the rest of 2023. Check back in, see what the themes are coming up next month for you, etc. as you go. And do be sure to claim that astrological chart reading guide that is based on my principles of alchemical astrology that I've been developing in Sacred Planet. I hope you will go ahead and claim that, really enjoy it. The link to that is in the description field below. Again, I am Jocelyn Starfeather, founder of Sacred Planet. It's been a joy to share this with you today. I hope it will be extremely helpful on your journey of life throughout 2023. So much love to you, many blessings, and I'll see you again soon.